This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. If you like my videos, please hit the red subscribe button. Today I'd like to talk about something which affects all of us, whether we're civilian life or whether we're law enforcement, and that's attitude. Now I'm going to address the attitude in law enforcement first. Whether you're a correctional officer or a police officer, your attitude can set the pace for your career. When we all come out of the academy, whether it's a corrections academy or a police academy, we all know policies and procedures, rules and regulations, and you can come out of that academy with the attitude that you know it all. You've got the newest laws down, you've got the newest policies down, you've got the newest procedures down, you know it all. And I'll tell you what, if you come out of that academy and you know it all, you're in for a rude awakening, my friend. Anybody who's trained other officers, whether it's in corrections or police work, has met the person, I'm going to call them a Martin. Everybody's met a Martin who's come out of the academy, and because they've just learned the latest in laws, they've just learned the latest in policies and procedures, they know it all. Now, I've trained a few Martins in my time. They're difficult people to work with because they do know it all. In their mind, they know it all. I recall a particular instance where I was driving along with Martin, and I asked him how he would proceed with a Chapter 51, which is a 72-hour mental health hold. Martin proceeded to tell me what he'd learned in school. Well, I would get 3 statements, I would take them down to the mental health center, and I would drop them off. Well, it's not quite that simple. You have to go through a mental health counselor, you have to find out where you're going to take them, things of that nature. When I tried to explain that to Martin, his comment was, well, I guess I'll deal with it when it happens. Don't be a Martin. Be someone who's willing to sit back, someone who's willing to listen, someone who's willing to learn. You know, I see a lot on different forums that I moderate, people asking, what can I do to be a good officer? I'm brand new. One of the best things you can do is listen. Now, as a new officer, it's important to go in with a good attitude. You know, we're all proud of our positions when we start. We're proud of the uniform we wear. We're proud of the position we have. You know what? And that's great. That doesn't mean that you're any better than anybody else. That just means you have a position to be proud of, and you should be proud of it. But don't let that pride overtake your common sense when it comes to dealing with people, particularly if you're a police officer and you're dealing with members of the general public. Just because you have a badge, a vest, and a gun doesn't give you a bulletproof ass. It doesn't mean, particularly in today's society, that you are immune from the hazards of the everyday man. Once again, just because you're a police officer, you are no better than anybody else out there. You have a job to do, and you should do that job keeping foremost in mind that you are there to serve the public. Now, nobody likes to hear that we're there to serve the public. It conjures up bad images like we're slaves or like, we have to do exactly what the public tells us to. No, we have to act within the bounds of the law. That's what we're called to do. We're not called to go out there and be some arrogant jerk who, just because they have a badge, a hat, a fancy car, and a gun, can do or say whatever they want. You can't. You still have to act within the bounds of human decency. So attitudes during different times of your career are going to mean different things. When you come in, you're probably going to have a really good attitude. You're going to be very upbeat about what's going on. You're going to be excited about what's going on. If you have the proper mindset, you're going to be excited to learn what's going on, and you are going to listen. Or you could be a Martin. Well, as we go through our career, though, our attitude changes. Probably around the 5-year mark, we suddenly get the attitude that, geez, we really do know it all. We've been through a number of situations, whether in the prison or on the street, that have tested our mettle, and we've come through. So we do know it all. This is a dangerous time in a career. From 5 years to 10 years is a dangerous time, because that's the time where you truly think that you do know it all. You don't. In corrections And in police work, you're going to come up with different situations that, while they are the same, whether it's a domestic, whether it's a cell entry, regardless of what it is, it may be the same as something you've done before, but each one is going to present their own challenges, and you have to learn from those challenges. Now, you can rely on what you've done in the past to guide you through, but you can't always rely on what you've done in the past to be successful. So we need to remember that. Then we get the old-timer's attitude. You know, the old-timer who comes to work every day and it looks like he acts like he just took a fresh bite out of a fresh turd sandwich and he's just disgruntled. You know, been there, done that, not going to do it again. I've met a few old-timers that were that way. They were miserable people. They were miserable people at work. They were miserable people at home. They were just miserable people. You know, if that's going to be your attitude, that you hate your job every day, that you don't like your job, you don't respect your job, you don't respect yourself, you don't respect your bosses, maybe it's time to move on. You know, if you've got enough time to retire, retire if you're that miserable. Or if you are truly that miserable, quit. Put your retirement on holding, find a new job. You know, I'm not saying go into work happy, joy every day, but go into work facing the reality that your attitude sets the pace for the day. As an example, if you're a unit sergeant and you walk into that unit and you've got a lousy attitude, inmates are going to pick up on that. And you know what? You are going to have one rough day because your attitude transcends to the inmates. It's the same thing as a police officer. Now, when I make a traffic stop, if I walk up to a car and I'm Mr. Hard-ass big cop, I'm going to have a difficult time with those drivers. Now, I'm not going up there and kiss their butt, going up there being Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Rogers. Go up there and act professionally. Treat them the way you would want to be treated in the same circumstances. That's all you need to do. You don't need to go up there with your chest puffed up and making sure they see your badge, making sure they see your gun, and letting them know that they did something wrong. They knew that as soon as you turned your lights on. Attitude transcends all areas of life. If you have a bad attitude at work, you think that's not going to come home with you? You think your wife, your kids, your partner, your spouse, your significant other, your family isn't going to know that they aren't going to notice the attitude you have? You know, it does. It transcends to all areas of your life. If you come home and you're a bitter person at the supper table, you think your kids aren't going to feed into that? Of course they are. Do you think your kids aren't going to develop an attitude like that later on in their life? Of course they are. When you're in law enforcement, whether you're in corrections, whether you're in police work, your attitude transcends everything in your life, and it also affects everybody around you. Just remember, only you can control the attitude that you have. Now, have there been times where I've had a bad attitude? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't. The majority of the time, though, try to be a little bit upbeat. Like I said, you don't have to be happy, joy, but just realize what you have. Realize the job you have. Realize your family. Realize the difference that you're making in the lives of others. Until next time, this is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. Stay safe and watch your back.